Welcome to the podcast, Lindsay. So great to have you here. Do you want to just start by letting our listeners know a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do?
Well, thank you very much for having me on. I am so honored. And for those who don't know me, my name is Lindsay Jani, and I'm a self-transformation coach. And I essentially help people master their happiness by mastering their energy and mastering their minds.
Wow, that's amazing. And so, how did you fall into this line of practice?
Well, that is a good question.
Just jump right into it.
I know. So about 17 years ago, I had an experience that rocked my world. And I get into this more on my podcast, which is launching next week, or I guess this week when this is going to be airing. And I had a life altering experience, as do many, big or small, that really made me look at things a little bit differently. I was in college and I realized that I had been living my life in a way that I wasn't very happy with. And so I wound up going to a Reiki healer, which is an energy healer, and she helped me see the possibilities for what my life should be and what it could be like. And it was really interesting how she just moved the energy through my body in a way that I had never experienced before. I had gone to therapists, I'd gone to everybody else for the event that had happened in my life. And I had never felt so whole and complete in my life. And so I went on my journey and to learn how to work with energy. And funny enough, this is exactly what I do now. It has changed my life. It has been a beautiful blessing. And that's how I got into it. So knowing that you can start working on how happy you are through your energy, and then also working with your subconscious mind is really what helps people move forward and really live the life that they really want to be living.
That's amazing. And when you're working with energy, let's say it's new to somebody, you're working with them. Is it hard for somebody who's not aware of their energy to get in touch with that, feel it, or become aware of it, use their senses in a different way?
Yeah, it's so energy is not this elusive thing that only some people have, right? Everyone's like, ooh, an energy healer. The great thing is that we all are energetic people. It's physics. It's science. We all have energy in our body, and so do all living things, and so do all non-living things. And so the best way to understand your energy is if you're feeling off, your energy is likely blocked. If you're feeling super amped up, then you probably have too much energy, right? Like if you have too much coffee, you're probably buzzing around. Or if you're just feeling meh, your energy's off, right? There's this barometer that we all have inside, and we just call it different things. I'm not feeling great today. I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling energized. Those are all our compass for how we know whether our energy is on or off. Does that
So
make
your
sense?
feeling is connected to your energy.
Feelings can be connected to your energy.
Right.
Yeah, the feelings, your feelings are a very real part of who you are, of your whole existence. When we start talking about the subconscious mind, though, the funny thing is that our thoughts are actually not full reality. It's our reality. But the thing is that when you start looking at your thoughts, they are based upon your perceptions and how you were brought up, how you were raised. So, for instance, if I were to drive by a house and it was just in any old house, maybe my house, I'd say my house is small, but it's beautiful. Somebody else might drive by my house and say, wow, your house is tiny. And I don't like it. somebody else might drive by my house and say, wow, your house is huge. And it's all based upon our perception and what we compare things to. So that's kind of how our thoughts are. Does that help?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So very interesting, because when I'm working with a student, I talk about how you think connects to how you speak. Your
Yeah.
thoughts are connected to your voice. And we've worked together. So, did you notice that when we were working together, things that were holding you back in using your voice or feeling comfortable using your voice, how that was related? And then when you shift your thoughts, that changed for you?
Yeah. So let me break this down a little bit. So we all know how we feel when we are talking, right? Like talking out
Mm.
on stage or talking on a microphone or talking one to one with somebody. And it feels really intimidating sometimes to be able to speak to the masses. And I had a block that I didn't realize that I had. I knew that I was scared to speak in front of people. I knew that I was afraid to be interviewed, and I couldn't figure out why. And I didn't really link the two together, saying, oh, it's an energetic block. And I also didn't realize that it was going back to a past story that I had to kind of overcome. And so it was really a beautiful experience in working with you, because the exact same thing that I do, you did with me without, I don't even know if you really knew exactly what you were doing, but you helped me uncover a story. You were my mirror in understanding the very thing that was holding me back, a story from when I was younger and speaking out on stage and being completely afraid and stumbling over my words. And I didn't realize that that experience was directly connected to how I felt about speaking now as an adult in my late 30s. And so it's just fascinating how these old stories can really impact us as we move forward in our lives. And energetically, our memories, whether or not we remember them, they can create blocks within us, and they create stories and this web of what I want, this web of lies almost, and feeling that I'm not good enough. I'm not a good speaker. I can't speak in front of people. I'm going to stumble over my words. And these were all things that, were energetically keeping me really small and making me feel like almost like I was caving in and closing my heart and just being like, nope, I'll do anything other than speak. And so in working with you, it was just really beautiful to be able to understand that I can let that story go. I didn't even realize I was still holding on to that story.
Mm.
And then being able to open up my heart and being able to open up literally what people in energy healing or in some of the more spiritual practices call your chakra, my throat chakra. And I was able to open it up and able to start speaking my truth. And it was a really beautiful experience coming out of this, because I'm now not afraid to say what I want to say, or say what I need to say, or say what I know other people might need to hear today. So thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. It's a very powerful thing. And it's amazing how closely it is related to what you do. This, it's funny because in talking with you, I've realized some things in my coaching, which I just took for granted. I just thought was kind of normal. I, I come from an acting background, most people know. And so I always thought that some actors, they go on their instincts. We'll call it their instincts, but really what instincts are is intuition, right?
Yep.
And so I found that when I was acting quite a bit, that I was very much an instinct driven actor. I just knew what to do. I could look at something and I could feel it, and I could be really present in the moment. And some actors really struggle at that. Other ones, it comes easy. What I didn't realize at the time was instincts is intuition. And I'm a pretty intuitive person. And I always use that now in my coaching that I really follow my intuition and I can feel what's holding somebody back. And I can instantly know that story that's been holding them back and keeping them in this one spot instead of allowing them to grow and do what they love to do.
The thing that I have found so fascinating with you is that you can tell where people are holding blocked energy while they're speaking. And
Mm.
so I remember you pointing out saying, oh, that person's sounding a little nasally. They're holding back, or they're speaking a different way. This is how they're feeling. And I was just like, wow, she can read energy too.
I
And it's
know.
look at
What?
this, right?
Okay, because I thought this was normal. I
No.
mean, not like normal in a sense, but like that's being a coach, that's something that you acquire the skill that then everyone that's a coach can do. I didn't realize that I was doing something different, if that
No,
makes sense.
you pick up on the nuances, and sometimes people
Mm.
might call that being detail oriented. But when you can start to understand the just how people are using their voice and knowing that something needs to either be said, or maybe confidence needs to be boosted in an area, or maybe something needs to be resolved that has not been resolved yet. You have this innate ability to be able to say, wow, I think we need to go here. And it was just really beautiful to be coached in a way that I knew made sense to me. I'm like, wow, she understands the way that I am feeling. And I'm a very kinesthetic person. So for me, I always talk about this is how I feel. And when you were able to tap into that and say, this is how it's directly tied to your voice, I was just like, duh. This makes so much sense because, when we're working with, I said, I'm so sorry on a voice podcast.
Hey, it's okay. It
I've
happens.
been so
You'll
good so
say,
far. Uh, so when you're looking at the subconscious mind and the way that we communicate, the tonality in our voice, and I've learned this in some of my clinical hypnosis training, the words that you say is only 7% of what actually needs to resonate with somebody. The
Mhm.
rest is your tonality and your physiology. 93% of how you say it with your voice, with the tone, leaning into certain words in a way that expresses the emotion, the feelings, and everything else is so, so important. So when you're speaking and trying to bring somebody along in a hypnosis, and I know that we've done this together where I've brought you back, there's a way that I need to speak in order to have your mind triggered into a way that starts to think differently and starts to tap into this part of your mind. And then I can
Mhm.
speed things back up once I know that I've brought you into more of that hypnosis. And so it's also about carrying a certain confidence because I cannot work with somebody or hypnotize somebody properly if they don't have confidence in me. And if I'm
Mhm.
not speaking with confidence, then they will come out of it. I can't hypnotize anybody who doesn't want to be hypnotized, number one, or number two, doesn't believe that they can be hypnotized, or number three, it doesn't align with their values. So and the trust part is really important because when you're using your voice, that trust has to be relayed.
Yeah.
That trust has to be accepted. And if it's not connecting with somebody on that energetic level, they're going to snap right out of it. They're
Yeah.
not going to be in it anymore, and then it will not have worked.
You've got to
It's
be fully
fascinating.
invested, right? Because if you're not trusting yourself in whatever way, the other person will pick up on that.
Yeah, it comes through your voice.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So fascinating.
I had you in hypnosis for a very long time.
And it felt just like real life. I mean, it just felt like we were just having a conversation. It didn't feel
Yeah.
like hypnosis.
Yeah, you're actually more fully awake in hypnosis than you ever would be while you were, awake with your eyes open. You're more aware of what's going on
Yeah.
because you are so focused on what is actually being said.
Yeah.
And so if you think about it, if your mind is there and your voice isn't relaying the message that you need to relay, the mind is going to pick up on that much faster than in a true awake with your eyes open state. And so it's fascinating. It is
It's
fascinating the energy
so
that you can carry
fascinating.
through your voice and how much using it as an instrument, as a tool, is so important. And
Uh,
so you taught me how to do this in front of people. Well, maybe not hypnotize the whole group, but like one on one, there's an agreement here.
yeah.
But if I'm speaking in front of people, I'm no longer afraid because I
Mm,
know that I can work with my voice and it's a tool
yeah. It
and I can
is.
shift
And
it.
I think that's where a lot of people they don't realize how powerful their voice is and that it is a tool that they can utilize in their business. Whatever you do, any profession, any career, your voice has the ability to attract people to want to work with you
Mhm.
and also repel them away.
Yeah.
So
Your voice
you
is energy.
exactly. So it's what sort of energy do you want to exude to the other person?
Mhm.
If you are not feeling good about yourself, they will pick up on it and they will not
1000%.
want to take that next step. But
Mhm.
if you fully believe in yourself and you're joyful and having fun and excited to have a conversation with this person, they're going to pick up on that and they're going to be attracted to you.
1010%. It's it's so beautiful how everything that we do is tied with our voice. It's our main communication channel. And it's how we tell people that we're happy or sad or angry or laissez-faire. I don't know if I pronounced that right. But it's people will pick up on the nuances, whether you know it or not, subconsciously and energetically. And if it doesn't feel right, people are going to turn you off.
Yeah.
But if it feels good, people are going to continue to listen.
And do you find that that is one of the key factors when we look at the top thought leaders, experts, influencers out there? Even let's go to like A-list movie stars, those that we're really attracted to, that we want to listen to. Is there something about their voice and how they communicate and their energy that has put them into that small percentage of people that have millions and millions of followers? People want to hear them. They want to be around them. Do you know what I
I,
mean? You know what I'm getting at?
I believe so. I think that there is something to be said about the people that you follow. The people who are at the top of their game tend to carry a different energy than most people. They know how to speak, they know how to use their voice. They may not say the right thing all the time, but they know how to use their voice effectively. They know how to help people go through a tough time. They know how to heal people with their words. And it's not just their words, it's the tone of their voice. And it's when we're looking at these top influencers and these top course creators and these top CEOs, they all know how to move people. And it is with confidence in their voice because you're not going to listen to one person that says, listen to me. You're never like, you don't listen to the people that say, listen to me. You listen to the people who command the attention and not in a manipulative way, but in a way that says, I can help you without saying I can help you, right?
Mm, yeah.
Or something that inspires you. If you have that energy where you can inspire somebody and you can do that through your voice, people connect with that instantly. And it's a beautiful thing. So, yes, I believe that the top influencers, the top CEOs, the top, business owners in the world all have to have that piece in common. Otherwise, who's going to listen to them? They
Mm,
have to sell. They
yeah.
sell with their voice. Actors have to sell with their voices.
All the time.
Otherwise, that it's not believable.
Correct.
Business owners have to sell with their voices. Otherwise, that they're hiding.
Yeah, that's right. And so, for someone who's a business owner or an entrepreneur or anything in the lines of selling, if you're not getting the results that you want, you're not getting your conversions, you're not booking new clients, whatever it may be, is that a time where you can stop looking at the strategies that you have in place and look within?
Hmm. We're touching on intuition here, Katherine.
Oh.
Yes. So, looking within, everybody has the capability to do this. Everybody. So when your things aren't working out, when your sales funnel seems to not work anymore, I would say it's probably time to look at the energy that you're putting out,
Mm.
because what you put out, you attract. And so if it's in the written word, it doesn't carry as much as your spoken word. And if you're not showing up and speaking and telling people what they really need to hear, not what you want them to hear, but what they need to hear, that's when you're going to have that connection. And you do that through your voice. I don't know one large problem that's ever been solved over writing a back and forth email. If you go and look at how people want to solve a problem, they say, go speak to that person face to face, pick up the phone and speak with them. If you want that sale, you need to speak. And I believe that it's in that conversation, because speaking is a conversation. Energy is an exchange. Energy is it's not an unspoken conversation, but it's a conversation too.
Mm.
Everything is a conversation. And if your voice is not relaying what you have on your heart or in your mind, or maybe it is, and you're not putting out the best out there, then you really need to work on the energy within your voice, how you believe in yourself, your mind, the things that you truly believe, because your voice will always reflect your deepest beliefs that you may not even know.
Woo,
I know, mind
wow.
blowing.
It is. It really is mind blowing. It takes my breath away because, for years I didn't see it. And now I do see it. And it's fascinating to me how many other entrepreneurs I see in this space, and they're always looking for the next thing to do. Why isn't this working? It's all these external things going from one to the next, when the answer is right in front of them.
Yeah.
And if you just stop and listen and just clear the air, clear your mind, you'll
Yes.
actually know exactly what's holding you back, right?
Yeah. It's, you always find what you need most. You always find your answers in the silence. And I'm not talking meditation here. I'm saying you stop your busyness, not your business. You stop being busy. You stop and you listen. Ask yourself, what do I need right now? Because sometimes we're not taking care of ourselves enough to fill up our cup energetically. We are always as an entrepreneur, we're always trying to serve our people, but you can't serve them if you're also not serving yourself. Like the saying goes, you can't fill another person's cup from an empty cup. But there is something to be said about emptying your cup so that the energy that you don't want drains out, so that you can keep it open and fill it with something good. Something that serves both you and your people. And it doesn't have to be some extravagant thing. It can literally be just you being you, the happiest you, the you that knows that what you put out is a reflection of you. It always is. Your words, your voice, how you say it, how you show up. And when you can really have that awareness of understanding how your energy affects people. That's when your business goes from ho-hum to something you couldn't even have imagined in the best of ways. I
That's
might start
when
crying.
I know, mic drop. That's when you see, when people talk about a quantum leap, that's when you see that quantum leap,
Yeah,
right?
or a breakthrough.
Mm.
Quantum leap, a breakthrough. Quantum leaps come from deep insight. And deep insight doesn't come from a noisy mind. Deep insight comes from getting quiet and emptying out and getting rid of the things that are making your mind loud, that are making your thoughts run at 1,000,000 miles a minute. Because if your mind is running at 1,000,000 miles a minute, it's going to impact your energy. You're going to get tired. That's when you get burnt out. And I know that sometimes the simplest things like getting quiet can feel so hard because we're not trained to be that way. We're trained to do, not shh, 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 shh.
Yeah, it's so true. And it's the one part of the body that we forget to allow to rest. You know, if you're an athlete and you train 5, 6 days a week, you know, for several hours a day, you're giving other parts of your body, other muscles, a rest. But we
Yeah,
forget about giving this a rest.
right. Our mind is the most active part of our body, I think. I am not a doctor. I am not a scientist. But what I can say for certain is that anytime that I have ever felt too overwhelmed, too scared, too fearful, too in my daughter has a book that says thinky thoughts. The thinky thoughts, you will know when you're in it, when you feel like you're about to explode, like you've hit that breaking point. You will know when your energy is off. And I'm an energy healer saying that, yes, my energy does not always match what my best intentions are, but we all learn. We all, as long as you become aware of what that is, so you can pull yourself back.
Mm,
It's that awareness. It's awareness with your voice too.
yeah.
My voice used to get so shaky, and that shakiness was my nerves. And you could tell that I was nervous, or I just would stumble over my words. And sometimes I still do, but I don't care anymore. And I know that my energy is different because I don't care.
Mm.
It is who I am. And we are all people, we are all human beings.
And so,
That's
can
okay.
you, if you're not, some people say, well, I'm not a very aware person. You can learn how to become aware, right?
Oh, you're aware. You're aware when you're angry. You're aware when you're sad. You're aware when somebody says something that makes you turn your head a full 360 degrees around and being like, oh, what?
Mm.
You're aware. Everybody's aware of their energy. If you can say, I'm tired, I am energized, you are aware of your energy. There's not one person who is not aware.
Yeah.
It's just, do you let yourself tap into it? Do you let yourself ask yourself the questions? What do I need right now? How am I feeling? What is making me feel this way? When you can start asking yourself these questions, you can become more aware of your energy.
Okay. So if you're not very aware, when you start asking questions, you can start to tap into that more and
Yeah.
start to
Or
feel
where,
it.
yeah, or where am I feeling it in my body?
Mm.
Sometimes people will feel that butterflies, right above their belly button, or in their sternum, and that will either be excitement or nerves. And you'll know what that feels like. That's energy.
Mm.
I'm nervous. That's a parasympathetic nervous system. Like, it's a response. It's a physical response, but it's also a response for something that's been triggered in your mind. Everything is energy, everything. And it's not mutually exclusive to just energy and your mind. Your mind affects your energy, and your energy affects your mind. And everything also affects your body. the environment that you're in, the space that you're in, where you are, how you react. It's all tied. It's an
Oh,
ecosystem.
so this is what this is. I mean, we could talk forever. This is what you, so if somebody wants to work with you, this is what you work with them on.
Yeah. So it's such a beautiful practice. And I've seen so many people shift, and it's not, and I don't never want to say change, because change is a really scary thing, but these small shifts can make such a huge impact. And sometimes they feel like they're so simple, but they're the hardest things to do, because if it were so simple, everyone would have it figured out. This would never be a problem. We would all be millionaire business owners and all super duper happy, right? We wouldn't have any worry in the world. We just do what we wanted to do and be happy with it. So what I help people do is understand their energy, how to tap into it, how to heal themselves. I can help people on that healing journey. But the beautiful thing is about the human body, the human mind, who we were born to be, is that we are already born healers. Our bodies heal ourselves every day. If we get a paper cut, do we think about how we're going to clot our blood and it's going to scab over and fall off and you have new skin? Our bodies were made to heal. We get fevers because our bodies get rid of toxins and it helps us heal. But the thing is that we have learned that we need to rely on so many things outside of ourselves. And yes, there are great tools to have. Let me tell you, there are great tools as you learn how to work with yourself too. Again, there's science. Science is important, but so are ourselves. We can't rely 100% on something outside of ourselves and expect to change in return. We also have to do the work. So what I do is help people with their energy, find their blocks, move their blocks, or sometimes their energy spikes to get them back in line with their natural state. And I do that with energy healing, with reading people's energy, and also them being able to tap into the subconscious mind, being able to retrain your mind in a very different way where you're not even conscious about it. This is stuff where you start to learn how to heal yourself, how to heal your mind, how to think differently. Because the thing that keeps us from our greatest potential is a limitation of our thoughts. Our thoughts are our perceptions. And if we can shift our perception, we can shift our thoughts. And if we can shift our thoughts, we can shift our feelings. And when we can shift our feelings, we can shift our energy. And we start to heal ourselves. Our body starts to heal. Our body is everybody thinks that, oh, working with your body is just exercise, just eating right. But it's also about how your mind reacts with your body. There's something called epigenetics, which is how your mind starts to control your body at the cellular level, how stress can sometimes impact your DNA. Stress in your mind, stress in your body, stress in your body, stress in your mind. It's a feedback loop. Same thing with your energy. So if you can start to heal all these things and have it all work in the ecosystem that it was meant to work in, everything works out great. And you can shift drastically. Hate saying change. You can shift drastically or transform how you show up.
It's so true. You know, I worked with you and it happened so quickly.
Yeah.
So fast. It's amazing how fast that shift happens.
Yeah.
And from that point forward, all the possibilities.
Yeah. It's like letting go. It's almost like pulling that string that's been tied, but you know that you can, like, once you pull it, like, it'll just release a balloon, for instance. Like, you pull that string and like the balloon releases, but then it can just go wherever it's meant to go. Because we have no control over the things around us. And I'm pretty sure we've seen this over the last couple of years. There's not a whole lot of control that we have outside of ourselves, but the one thing that we have full control over is our minds and our bodies. And it's freeing to know that the things that we feel like we have no impact over are the very things that we have the most impact over. And that's what I help people realize and help them self-heal.
So good. All right. So, Lindsay, if somebody wants to get in touch with you and learn more about what you do or work with you, how do they get in touch with you?
Oh, all the channels. I am starting my new podcast called Reimagine Your Life. And it's a beautiful exploration in beginning to learn how to master your energy and your mind so that you can start mastering your happiness. And we go into the very things that you can do so simply to start shifting your everyday. And so that would be a really great place. Or you can find me on Instagram on the socials at lindsayjani.co. I'm Lindsay with an AY in case anybody puts in an EY, you're not going to get me. So lindsayjani.co or lindsayjani.com, and simply just find me there. And there's links everywhere. Might be the best place.
Yeah, we'll put the links in the show notes as well. Thank you so much, Lindsay. It's been such a pleasure to speak with you today and get to know a little bit more about what you do and share it with my listeners. I know it's very eye-opening for a lot of people who've never thought about this sort of thing. So it's wonderful to be able to get it out there and for other people to know what it is and how powerful it is what you do.
Oh, well, thank you very much. And thank you for helping me be able to share my voice, because truthfully, don't make me cry, Katherine. I've wanted to do this very thing for so long, and I was so afraid to show up as myself. And just being able to learn how to find my voice has made such a drastic impact on my life and has helped me go from a career that I was proud of to a career that I knew that I was meant to be in. So thank you.
You're so welcome. And it goes full circle, because when we were working together, I realized that I wasn't living my greater purpose. And now I am teaching my greater purpose. And that's because of you. So the two go hand in hand.
Feedback loop.
That's right.
Business besties. This is what it's all about, guys. Let me tell you. Find yourself a biz bestie. It's important. Well, thank you very much for having me on. It was an absolute pleasure. And I'll
speak to you
soon.
soon.
Yeah.
Thanks.